Okay, so today I want to talk to you about the biggest piece that every real estate agent's missing in their lead gen strategy. And really, once you add or you fix this piece, the process of generating leads that actually turn into clients becomes a heck of a lot easier. So I want to start today's video by quoting Alex Hormozi. He says that if you think that you're good at sales, but you've never sold to anyone that was not a referral, then you've never sold. Now, I believe this quote encompasses about 90% of real estate agents out there. And I really believe this because I've talked to a lot of agents, I've worked with a lot of agents, and it seems that they all face this exact same problem, which is how do I acquire complete strangers and turn them into clients? All right, a bit of background behind this. Turns out most agents, they reach this level of success that directly correlates to the size of their sphere. The larger their sphere, the longer they have a career in real estate. But eventually, given enough time, agents hit this plateau of production. And this plateau I'm referring to really forces the agent to figure out different ways to acquire new business from complete strangers. So then most agents, when they hit this plateau, they start hiring lead gen companies, or maybe they start running ads to try to bring in some new business. And then when these leads start coming in and they don't convert into clients, the default response is these ads don't work, this company's garbage, these leads are garbage, so on and so forth. But the harsh reality and truth of this is if you capture 100 leads, for example, and you don't convert any of them, the problem necessarily isn't the leads, it actually is more likely your system. And even worse, if you don't figure this part out past the plateau, then eventually there's a decline in the business, and really ending up and resulting in a downward spiral and trying to keep a failing business alive. Now, that is absolutely not the goal. So really my goal for today's little video is that I want to explain to you the missing piece that you either need to add or you need to fix to actually take a complete stranger and turning that into a client acquisition or a brand new real estate client. All right, now in order for me to help you better understand this, there's really just three big ideas that I want you to take away. Number one being a shift belief in terms of lead acquisition and the requirements needed to convert that lead into a client. Number two, I want to talk about mindset. And then number three, I want to talk about data. All right, so let's start off with big idea number one, which is shifting this belief that, and let me hop into the iPad. All right, I want to talk about this belief that one new lead is equal to one client, or maybe that 30 leads is equal to one client. The reality is, factually, this is incorrect. This is the wrong way to think, especially when it comes to acquisition of a lead or a complete stranger and converting them into a client using digital marketing strategy, which really leads to big idea number two. And let me actually move over to this little graph right here. Now, if we look at this graph where we have on one axis time and then on the other axis money, there's a direct correlation between what we have here, where we're really starting from, which is our comfort zone, and where we want to be. And we're going to call this our dream zone. By the way, quick attribution, shout out to one of my good buddies, Chris. He's the one that kind of broke this down, this philosophy of this little graph down for me. Now, your comfort zone is really where you are now, and your dream zone is really where the big aspirations and goals lie. Now, in between the comfort zone and the dream zone, and we're gonna kind of draw this little area here, we're gonna call this the chaos zone. And what really separates you from where you are now and the dream zone is really your tolerance of living in this zone here, the chaos zone. Now, if the goal is the dream zone, then the question that you really need to be asking yourself is how much discomfort in terms of time, this part here, and money, this part here, are you willing to endure to make it out of the chaos zone and into the dream zone? So the idea being that we want to go up and to the right. So really, I wanted to explain this idea first because this is really the lead into the missing piece that either you need to add or you need to fix in order to solve your lead gen problem, which really leads to big idea number three. And I'm going to move over to this part of the iPad here. Quick attribution shout out to Dean Jackson, got this from him. But the idea being that, and actually, let me blow this up a little bit more. He came up with this very, very logical explanation of leads that come in to your database or pipeline based off of your marketing. Basically, the rule of 100, or the rule of what happens when you acquire 100 leads. And really the numbers, big idea number 3, talking about data, break down like this. We took those 100 leads, we're going to say that 80% of them are unqualified, which really leaves that remaining 20%. And the way the numbers break down is like this. We have 85% of those people being later people. These are later buyers or later sellers, but at the end of the day, we define later people as leads that will turn into clients between 90 days to 3+ years, leaving that remaining 15% of people being the now people. Now, the now people are defined as a lead or a prospect that was in massive distress and you popped on the radar. So you were the first person there, they needed some help, you became their agent, or these are likely like referrals. But the idea here being that if you want to create consistency in your business, you don't play for the now people, you create systems and processes that target the later people, because the later people are what create the consistency. They are what create the predictability inside of anyone's real estate business. Okay, now that you know this, how the heck are you going to use any of this? Well, it's actually really simple. There's 2 actionable items that you can really take away from this video to solve your lead gen problem. All right, actionable item number 1 is that you need to look at your current lead nurture system that you have in place. How often are you creating these touches for these leads? If we know that it takes about a minimum of 90 days to convert a complete stranger into a client, how often is this complete stranger seeing you online? How often are they receiving an email from you or getting a text message from you? You see, lead nurture is no more than a game of frequency. If there's no consistent cadence of showing up in their world daily, then you really need to solve for that. Hence, the big point of today's conversation is, what is your lead nurture strategy? Because this is likely where there is a broken piece. Of course, leading to big idea or big takeaway number 2, and that is, how big is your time horizon for these leads? Now, based off of this whole later now people, this part here, it requires a massive amount of investment in your time to continually show up into the worlds of these leads and prospects so that they can start recognizing who exactly you are and really start trusting you. Then eventually through that process, you'll win the business. So once you shift the belief from one lead will turn into a client after maybe a week or a month to now being this lead is an investment and I need to really invest my time and effort into this lead, because over a few months or several months, this lead will eventually make themselves known into my world, and then I will be able to convert this lead into a client. You'll be able to see that you're going to be able to acquire leads comfortably and confidently know that you can turn them into clients a lot more sustainably, and really this benefits the longevity of your real estate business. All right, that said, jamming more stuff on this inside of our free Facebook group, leaving the link in the description below. And if you really enjoyed this little video here, then I highly recommend that you check out this one right here. Bye now.